All right, if you just joined us, it's still Journalist Hangout. I still have BKO and Adewale Ade here with me. So let's move straight to our next conversation. The World Bank is a global financial institution that plays a crucial role in assessing economies, providing data that shape investment decisions and policy directions. In its latest report, which ranked economies based on gross domestic products, GDP, the institution reaffirms Nigeria's position as Africa's largest economy, despite challenges. While appraising government measures to stabilize the economy, the World Bank Country Director for Nigeria, Ndiame Diop, noted that targeted actions must be taken to eliminate the challenges affecting the country's economic potential, particularly in the private sector. Mikhail, despite the economic challenges, the inflation, the cost of living crisis and all of it, but what do you make of what the World Bank is saying here? And also, did it come to you as a surprise?
You know, it doesn't come to me as a surprise. I've always known that our economy is the largest in Africa, and some of the steps that we are taking to achieve stability, exchange rate stability, for example, are also helping us to draw more investment into the country. We are doing well, especially in the area of foreign portfolio investment.
FPI.
Yes. But I want a situation in which we are doing much better in terms of foreign direct investment. Foreign direct investments are more long-lasting, you know, because a lot of the people involved in foreign portfolio investment, they are doing it for not for long-term gains, but short-term gains, you know, and they do not stay. But we've seen lately that more and more of those investments are coming in, and it will help us in terms of foreign exchange liquidity, which we need desperately. The more access people have to foreign exchange, for example, the more likely they would invest in your country. Because nobody wants to come and invest in a country where repatriating their funds becomes the big issue. And this government has done its best to address that problem. One of the first things that the government did was to clear those
backlog.
The backlog. Those,
sorry for the airlines.
Yes, those indebtedness to foreign companies and all that they had to clear. And they said, okay, they have used a fine-tooth comb to look at the claims that were thrown at them. They found some of those claims were actually not valid. In spite of that, taking a second look at some of those claims, and they can say today that they successfully cleared all of the those debts that they inherited, you know, in terms of forex obligations.
Okay.
Now, what we need to do is to also ensure that the obstacles to investments, obstacles to a very healthy environment for investment are removed.
Obstacles like?
Obstacles, for example, when people want land, for example, where they can set up a business. People want certification. It takes so long, and there are some people deliberately, because they want to make life difficult for you so that you can then bribe them, they do their best to frustrate. You can remember the president in one of those trips abroad said that they should report to him.
Yeah, I remember.
Yes,
yeah,
because this is what our people do. Somebody is bringing money to invest in your country, and you are asking for tons of dollars in bribes. This is what some public officers do. And if those people are not prepared to bring the money, they make sure that they don't succeed. Many investments have been lost
because of people.
Because people make up their mind to frustrate investors, not prepared to give them money in hefty, by way of hefty bribes, and they will go elsewhere. Sure. They will go to places where it is a lot easier and more convenient for them to invest in. You can see we are in competition with many African countries, Ghana, Rwanda, all of them, the countries that are doing well, Botswana. So we have to realize that and make the atmosphere more conducive
climate
for the investors to come in. The more these investors come in, the more our economy grows.
Sure.
Look at MTN, for example. Look at the size of MTN in the telco business. Look at the size. What if the MTN had been frustrated out of our country, or frustrated to the point that they made up their minds, let's go elsewhere? The kind of money they even pay in form of taxation is huge. It helps when you have investment like this, because even your own, apart from the employment that they generate,
exactly,
technology and knowledge transfer also happens. Your own people will be put in position to even be leaders in some of those companies, because it's not possible to just bring a company and all of the management staff are foreigners.
No.
So it opens doors of opportunities for our own people to thrive. I would like to see a lot more investment, especially in agriculture. I saw a woman in Kaduna who came to this country to work for an NGO. Today, she's the biggest woman in tomato farming in Nigeria. And also, she's also into production of concentrates, what we used to call toma pep in those days, paste, you know. So the conditions have to improve for our economy to keep growing. Okay. Agriculture contributes a significant chunk into our GDP. It employs far more people than any other sector. And the opportunities in agriculture are limitless. So if we will focus a lot more on agriculture, we will achieve our aim of diversification of our economy. And our economy will expand. So I see opportunities here and there that our government needs to tap into, so that we can maintain this leadership role.
Leadership status.
As the World Bank has observed, in the area of foreign direct investment, we need to do our best to attract more of such investment, so that countries like South Africa, Indonesia, you know, there are third world countries like us, they are way ahead.
All right, Adewale, with all the reforms taken on, you know, by the Tinubu administration, in your opinion, is Nigeria in a decent place for massive economic growth?
I think potentially.
Potentially.
Nigeria has always been, you know, in a strategic position to be a global power. When you are looking at the population of about 230 million people, and then you are looking at the resources, hardly is there any major resources. Is there mineral resources, gold, diamond, not to talk of the crude oil. Then the human resources, apart from natural resources, there is no field in Nigeria that you will not find Nigerians. No field on heart, even whether it's space technology, whether it's engineering, medicine, Nigerians are there. All over the world, they dominate. So potentially we should be in a position to rule the world. Even when you are talking about water resources, marine resources, we have almost everything. So I think that if with the right leadership, you know, Nigeria can actually be on top of the 10 greatest countries in the world. If you look at smaller countries like Singapore, you know, they are not as endowed as Nigeria, even Japan. So if those countries can transform from rural countries into the global stage, there's just no reason why we cannot have the same reputation. I believe that if we are able to tackle certain challenges, especially leadership, getting the right people with the vision, with people that are propelled by who have compassion, you know, for the people, honest people, who also have a global vision of how to transform Nigeria from stupor to greatness. I believe, you know, within the shortest time, you know, we can begin to tell sweet stories about our country. Like I just mentioned, agriculture. We have enormous potential in the area of agriculture. In the area of telecommunications, we are getting no fewer than 5.7 trillion from telecoms industry in 2024 alone. So, and when you're talking about even small-scale industry, which is the backbone of Chinese economy, we have about close to 200,000, you know, small and medium-scale enterprises in Nigeria. So, I believe that if we have the right engineering process, you know, we can actually be on top of the world, at least be on top of Africa. The way we are going now, I think there are some steps that have been taken, which I feel can add value to our desire to, you know, reclaim our glory. One of those steps is this tax reform, because when a country is heavily indebted, you need to engage the citizens to be able to also make their own little contributions, you know, to raise funds, especially when you look at the kind of external debt and domestic debt that we are dealing with. People need to also make sacrifices. If you don't make sacrifices, there's no way your country, are just leaving everything to those that are leading you. So I think that tax reform is a major step that I think is a positive trend.
And if it sees the light of
the light of the day,
it will definitely.
Yes, then we're also talking of certain giant projects like the Lagos Calabar,
the coastal road.
It's not just for Nigeria; it's for the entire West Africa, you know, sub-region. If you can get that, it's going to reconnect people. It's going to open up a lot of windows of opportunities in terms of the ecosystem, in terms of transportation, in terms of movement of goods and services. So I think if you can, you know, I mean, get the right projects across, and we're also talking about railways, you know, across the country. So if you can do the right thing in the next few years, our story may actually change for the better.
All right, gentlemen, let's move straight to our next